Welcome to the O-Scene. I'm Jacqueline Twegg. In Orange County, there's always something to do. Look to your own neighborhood or a surrounding city. Time to check out the people, places, and events taking place on the O-Scene. We're going to take you on a walking tour of downtown Huntington Beach, where you might just learn a thing or two. And at Westminster High School, students are learning what it takes to run a working farm. Stay tuned for other recent happenings in Fountain Valley, Huntington Beach, Stanton, and Westminster. Time to get your comfy sneakers laced up. Ready to log in a few miles? Join us as we explore downtown Huntington Beach. There's rich history highlighted in this walking tour, led by local author and journalist Chris Epting.
On the one hand, I wanted some places that you may have already known but didn't know the complete history of, like the original jail cells. Okay, but then there were other stories that I learned about from writing my newspaper column, like the trees that were planted almost 100 years ago by a dad who wanted to welcome his son to the world. You wouldn't know that unless I took you there.
The first stop on the tour, 421 8th Street. This craftsman-style building dating to 1906 served as the Evangeline Hotel, hosting Civil War veterans. They tethered their horses to the sidewalk rings, which still remain. Now it's a private residence.
You mentioned those hitching rings in the ground. You know, that connects you to a time in Huntington before automobiles, essentially, before there were many automobiles.
As we continue to the next point of interest, Chris pointed out something you'd normally walk over.
Anytime you see his initials, he was a guy who very involved in construction. He built the Holly Sugar Factory, which used to be, really big deal outside of town. But he would put his initials in the sidewalks. When you see those, they're more than 100 years old. And I love seeing, there's different designs he's got. There's ones we'll see that have little diamonds next to them. But that was his way of advertising his services as a concrete guy. And those are still here.
Now to the International Surfing Museum. Built in the 1930s, it started as a doctor's office. With all of the oil wells at the time, there were a lot of serious injuries, and it became the local hospital.
This became essentially the burn center for everybody who was injured with these really serious oil accidents.
Just a few blocks away, standalone jail cells. These date back to 1916. Now being used by the nearby restaurants as cold storage units.
The fact that these are still here, and this is where you really start to see the old and the new, where you see it sandwiched in between.
On to 6th Street and to what once was the Helm House Furnishing Company. Today, the great-granddaughter of Matthew Helm runs the antique store.
The fact that these buildings are still here, we'll go to the Helm House in the corner. That was the family house. That house was built in Santa Ana in 1901 and actually dragged by mule 12 miles here in 1906.
Crossing the street to get a better view of the residence, it's currently being renovated by the family.
But really, in terms of old, the false western front, it gets no better than these houses.
Both the Helm buildings are listed on the National Register of Historic Places. As we make our way to Main Street, the iconic surfing statue is explained.
In 1914, the city's having a celebration in honor of the pier. They have a guy named George Freeth who comes and does a surfing exhibition. It's one of the first times anybody on the West Coast has seen surfing. Duke Kahanamoku follows soon after, and they would go up and down the coast giving surfing demonstrations, which is really how it kind of seeded here, and how Huntington Beach became so surf-centric was because of him in large part.
Around the corner to what once was the Golden Bear for a few golden nuggets of history. One being Peter Gabriel when he was performing with Genesis.
And he tells him this story about how, with the band still playing, he takes his new bodyboard, still in the bag, and goes across, and he could still hear the music, he said, across the street entering the ocean. And Peter Gabriel had this really incredible memory of playing the Golden Bear.
Then to the pier where the tour wraps up at the plaque and memorial of Robin Christine Samso.
As you can see, he loved the tour. He's applauding it. When we have guests and family come from out of town, I can't wait to give them mini tours and share some of the fun facts and knowledge that we learned today.
History is important. It really is. And you don't you don't realize it until when he was telling us stuff. I'm like, I've lived here. Chris says he's only been here 20 years and he knows more than I do. So I feel like I want to know more.
And I learned just the myriad of different facts that I would recommend the tour. And Chris's style was just fantastic. It was really low key and the group was amazing. The weather was perfect for it. So coming out doing the walking tour it was a great morning.
To find out more information on when the next walking tour will be taking place, you can visit Chris Epting's website. Now to Westminster, where high school students get to learn and work on a working farm as part of their school credit.
First of all, thank you for coming down today and helping with the watermelon harvest.
It's Harvest Day at Westminster High School. The entire school takes part picking watermelons and packing them to donate to the Orange County Food Bank.
I already brought it here. Next one, guys, this one, over there.
The Giving Farm is part of a school program.
Students are able to come to our school specifically because they want the ag experience. And then while we do the typical classroom environment, we're able to come out here, teach them different farming techniques, teach them how to raise animals, how to take care of the animals properly.
On this day, not only do the students who share a love of farming help, but everyone pitches in.
That was the goal of it. We had some teachers last year that suggested, why don't we do a harvest schedule? And so that we have a whole schedule worked out with our Bell Schedule Committee, that every student gets opportunities to come out to the farm and give a chance to give back.
It's called the Giving Farm because we don't only give to the Orange County Food Bank, but we're also teaching our students how to become like respectable adults. They not only are learning the materials for their classroom, but they're also going out and we're teaching them that it's important to give back to their community, be good citizens and be part of the community as well.
I love it! Mark Lowry explains the recent and valuable relationship between the Orange County Food Bank and Westminster High School.
Yeah, it was just about 9 months ago that a farmer friend was driving on the freeway and saw this property off the side of the freeway and asked the question, what's that? And turned around, came by and met the teacher here of the Future Farmers of America program. This is the largest property in Orange County for a Future Farmers of America program. But over a course of period, it hadn't received the support that it needed to be a fully functional farm. So we partnered with our farmer friend. He was able to bring some tractors and some of his friends in here, provide the teacher and the program the resources to make this a fully functional farm again. But now it had a new and great purpose, and that purpose was to go produce for the vulnerable families served by the food bank.
In addition to growing watermelon, squash, lemons, persimmons, pomegranates, and avocados, the students also tend to livestock.
We have 4 cows. We have a brand new baby bull. He's a month and a half old. We have 2 goats, and then we have 18 chickens. The chickens, they are laying hens, so I have students go out every day and collect the eggs. We wash them and we sell them to our teachers. With the cattle, we're just teaching students proper handling techniques. We're teaching them how to walk them, we're bathing them. We're just really letting the students get hands-on experience. And then come March, the students are going to have the opportunity to raise pigs, lambs, sheep, turkeys, chickens. They learn a whole lot of responsibility. They learn a lot about the animals. And then we take them to the Orange County Fair and we go through the auction, we go through showmanship. So they're learning responsibility, they're learning about the animals, and they're learning the business side as well.
We just had a baby about a month and a half ago, so it's really interesting to get to see them grow from just being born all the way up till they're mature enough to, start milking, start giving birth themselves. It's just really interesting to watch.
When you raise the animals, it's like you get to take them to the fair and you get to meet new people at the fair. And so there's different schools with the same program. And so it's really cool to branch out into new schools and to be able to meet new people that have the same interests as you.
Jacqueline is a sophomore and member of the Future Farmers of America. She enjoys seeing her entire school sharing in something she loves so much.
This whole day is meant for community, and it's meant for a food bank, and I think it's just amazing how everybody's pitching in together and working together as a team.
If you want to get involved and volunteer with the Orange County Food Bank and help at the Giving Farm, you can give them a call or visit their website. At the end of the day, more than 55,000 pounds of watermelon was donated to the food bank, truly making a difference. Now, if this inspires you to do some of your own plantings, we have just the place for you to get started. In Huntington Beach, there's a library within Central Library. It's a seed library partnering with Garden Pool, a nonprofit. This has been a fixture since 2016.
At the time, we were their second seed library. So their first one was in Arizona. They're based out of Arizona. They'd come to Huntington Beach. They saw how beautiful it was here. They liked our park that was surrounding the library. And they really wanted to have their seed library here, and we really wanted them here. So it's a good match.
As the seasons change, so do the seeds, and it takes a very dedicated volunteer to make this happen.
Well, I'm in charge of maintaining it completely. So I order the seeds, I stock the seeds, and keep coming back. I come back about twice a month and restock the drawers, change it for the seasons on what particular plants are being grown at that time, and take the seeds that are donated back and send them back to Garden Pool.
It tells us when is the best time to grow plants, different plants. So look,
There's radishes.
Yep, there's radishes also.
And one of the hopes of this program is to inspire families to grow their own food at home, teaching young ones about healthy eating.
I love it. It's so great that kids can really learn like hands-on. And I think that's the best way for them to learn, to actually see it grow, to put it in the soil and water it every day, give it love and sunshine.
This could also get little ones like 5-year-old Lily eating their veggies.
And do you like broccoli? What if we put a seed of broccoli and we watched it grow? Would you eat it for dinner?
Yeah.
You would? What would you put on top of it?
I would put, like cheese.
Oh, yummy cheese.
10-year-old Aurora already is an ace at growing dragon fruit at home with her dad.
Super exciting because it's fun to see how they started out as little tiny seeds and now they're these pretty big cactus.
Now that she's caught the gardening bug, she has big plans.
Now that I know there's a seed library, I think I'm definitely gonna ask my mommy to come, and I think I want to check out carrot seeds maybe. Like maybe the day before we go to my grandma's, because growing seeds at my grandma's house is really, 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 really fun.
So here's the process to make all the fun happen and grow your very own vegetables at home.
Patrons are able to check out up to 3 seed packets a month. What they do is they come up to the desk, we check their library card, make sure everything's in good standing. They say, hey, I want to check out 3 seeds, and we say, great, and that's it. Then they're able to check out the seeds. We ask that they return the seeds at the end of the season and save their seeds, but it's not mandatory, so it's just for everybody to enjoy.
For more information on Huntington Beach's Central Library hours and programs, you can visit their website. So once your fruits and veggies are sprouting and growing, there's a workshop you can take to reuse and recycle your food waste. In Huntington Beach, tucked away at the Shipley Nature Center, there's a magic world of composting taking place.
You only have one room for one compost bin in your backyard, and you need to make that as efficient as possible. Then one way to do it is break this down into tiny pieces.
Are you here for the seminar? Yeah, we checked it. Oh, good. Okay.
The Magic of Composting Workshop teaches you how to transform kitchen scraps and backyard cuttings into rich compost for your plants and garden.
This is a completed compost. It's now cool to the touch. It's moist and has a rich brown color.
This program is a joint program of the Shipley Nature Center and the City of Huntington Beach. And our partners in the city are the Public Works Department. And so what we do is co-sponsor 4 seminars on composting each year. and we've been doing it for 10 years now.
The idea is to help the environment while saving money.
In order to show people how to reduce, reuse, and recycle. And in this case, it's backyard composting, the browns and greens, and it's your kitchen composting, which we call vermicomposting. And that's the worms, and that's what's so much fun.
So we have all our worms in here combined with the food waste and the decomposing organic matter. Vermicomposting is the simplest form of recycling your decomposing organic matter. You're basically taking your food waste, feeding it to the worms, and they're eating it. That's all there is to it. The worms are doing all the work for you.
And there are different ways to house the worms.
We call this a feeding station. Basic from a residential perspective, we have two types of worm bins. One that we call a feeding station that you basically plant into your garden environment or your planting environment. And the other one is a standalone where you can have it into your kitchen, on your patio or someplace like that you can throw your food waste and the worms will process it and convert it into castings for you.
So what are worm castings and what are the benefits?
Worm tea is the liquid equivalent of worm castings. Castings is the manure or the byproduct from the process of vermicomposting. The worm castings, it has a natural growth enhancer for your plants, a natural immune booster for your plants, and a natural pest deterrent. Take this and it's like a liquid fertilizer. You can spray it on the foliage of your plants or you can augment your watering routine with it.
To feed the soil, worm castings are used and provide nutrients for plants.
Which turns around and feeds the fruit and vegetables on their vines or stems, and that turns around and feeds us.
Carl Zernick is interested in stepping up the fertilization process in his backyard.
The fact that I believe that it works, the recycling part of it, which is really good, but the actual worm castings is really beneficial. It's for the fertilization, yeah. The recycling is secondary, but that's really the important part.
He's purchasing a worm kit today to start vermicomposting at home. Mika Mitchell is also ready to put some tips to action.
Definitely I'm going to bury the feeding station one in my garden because we grow greens and we grow tomatoes. And so he was saying that the worms will just go out and kind of populate the garden and help the plants, and then they'll come back. So we can throw all our waste and scraps into it and being good about the environment.
I didn't really understand how easy it was, and it seems pretty foolproof as long as you take care of your little creatures. So, and if you can get good soil out of it, which is what we need in the harbor, that'll be great.
Shipley Nature Center holds 2 seminars in the spring and 2 in the fall. You can contact the center for more details. That's all we have for now, but we hope you'll be inspired to go out and explore all of the experiences awaiting you. Until next time, I'm Jacqueline Twegg for the O Scene.